was looking for some real friends. All they ever do is let me down. Every time I let somebody in, then I find out what they're all about. I was looking for some real friends, wonder where they're all hiding out. I was looking for some real friends, gotta get up out of this town. Looking for some real friends.
G'day guys, my name's Dave Trent and welcome to another GuitarZero2Hero song tutorial. And in today's lesson, I'll be teaching you how to play Real Friends by Camila Cabello. Now this is a really great fingerpicking song. It's got a really nice riff. It's quite simple and it's played basically throughout the whole song, so there's not a whole lot to learn. For the basics, you'll need your guitar in standard tuning and you'll need a capo on the 3rd fret of your guitar. Now if you want to master your chords back to front, then be sure to head over to GuitarZero2Hero.com to pick up my free guitar ebook. Before we begin, we're just going to set some fingerpicking rules. Our thumb is going to take care of the 6th, 5th and 4th strings, and our index, middle and ring finger will take care of the 3rd, 2nd and 1st strings respectively, and they won't pluck any other strings than the ones they're assigned to. So let's start with the main riff of the song, and it's basically played throughout the whole track except for the quiet verses, and I'll teach you that later. To start, we have an A minor 7 chord shape, so that's the same as an A minor, except you're going to lift your ring finger. Now our picking pattern is really simple here. We start by plucking the 5th string, and then we pick the 2nd and 3rd strings together, and then we're going to slap. So for our muted slap, we're dropping our picking hand onto the strings so that you get that percussive noise. Now the sound is actually created by these top strings hitting onto the metal fret strips when you put your hand down like that. So to really get that great slap sound, you need to focus on the bass strings here when you drop your hand onto the strings. Now that first pluck is held out for a little bit, and then when you pick the 3rd and 2nd strings together, it's only for a short moment until you slap onto it. Now we're going to do that twice for the A minor 7, which is really nice and easy, and it will sound like this. And then we go to a D minor 7. So to play that, we have our middle finger on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, and our index finger bars across the 1st fret of the 2nd and 1st strings. We're going to pluck the bass note, which is the 4th string here, and then we're going to pluck the 1st and 2nd strings together and slap. And that will sound like this. Now the second part of this bar is a little more difficult. So we'll start by hitting the bass note, which is the 4th string, and then we'll pluck the 3rd string, and then this next part involves quite an advanced technique. What you'll need to do is slap, but at the same time use your index finger to flick the 2nd and 1st strings together like that. So you're going to slap with your thumb basically onto the bass notes, but at the same time flick with your index finger and you'll hit the 1st and 2nd strings. So it'll sound like this. But also on top of that, what you need to do is hammer on and pull off with your pinky finger onto the 3rd fret of the 1st string. So hammer on and pull off, but that's all in one motion. So you need to do the muted slap, flick your finger, and then hammer on, pull off all at the same time, which will sound like this. And then to end, we go back to the 2nd string with our middle finger. And that section in total will sound like this. And a little bit slower. And in total, that full bar. Now, if you can't do that slap and flick at the same time, we can simplify it and remove the slap altogether. So basically, you're just plucking the 4th string, and then you go to the 3rd string, then you're plucking the 1st and 2nd strings together. But when you do, you hammer on, pull off, and then go back to the 2nd string. So without the complicated technique, it will sound like this. Then for our next bar, we're basing this around a G chord shape, but you don't need to play the full G, so take your ring finger and just put it on the 3rd fret of the 6th string and your middle finger on the 2nd fret of the 5th string. We have the exact same picking pattern here as we did in the first bar, so hit the bass note, which is the 6th string, pluck the 2nd and 3rd strings, and then slap after that, and we do that twice. Then we're going to go to a C chord shape. We're picking the 5th string, and then we're picking the 2nd and 1st strings together, and then slapping. And then we're going to change positions once again. We're going to take our middle finger and actually put it on the 2nd fret of the 5th string, and then do the exact same picking pattern. So 5th string, 1st and 2nd, and then slap. So that last bar will sound like this. And in total, the main riff of the song will just sound like this. And you just repeat that again and again. Now there are some variations throughout, like just before the chorus, but everything's exactly the same. We're just cutting out a couple of the last notes in the full riff. Now when we get to the quiet verse parts, the riff is going to be exactly the same. The only difference is that we don't have any muted slaps. The muted slaps are completely removed, but all the other notes remain. One thing you do need to do though, now that we don't have the muted slaps, you can't let those notes ring out though. You need to stop them ringing where that muted slap used to be. And that's just a matter of resting your hand on the strings or just lifting your fretting hand so that the notes don't ring out. And this is what I mean. So instead of playing it like this, you need to mute it right after you pluck those 2 strings together. Like that. And altogether the quiet verse will sound like this. So notice it's exactly the same, we just don't have the muted slaps anymore, but you still need to mute the strings and not let them ring out. Now if you're a real beginner and you just want some chords to strum, then that's really easy too. Our chord progression will simply be A minor 7, then D minor 7, then G, and then C, and then C major 9/B. So we lift our middle and ring finger and put our middle finger on the 2nd fret of the 5th string. That's C major 9/B. Our simple strumming pattern is just going to be down, 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 up. And in succession, down, 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 up, down, 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 up. For this chord progression, the first 3 chords are played for 2 strumming patterns, and then the last 2 chords are played for 1 strumming pattern each. So the very basic strummed version will sound like this. The final thing I'm going to teach you is the lead line in the post-chorus. Now just note all the tab up here is relative to a capo, so if I'm saying 5th fret up here, I mean 5th fret relative to the capo. Now we start on the 4th string on the 5th fret, and we're going to hammer on from the 5th fret to the 7th fret, like that. And then we go to the 5th fret of the 3rd string, and then with our pinky finger, we'll hit the 8th fret of the 2nd string, relative to the capo, and we're going to slide that up to 10th, like that. And so far we have this. And then you're going to go back down to the 8th fret with your middle finger here. And again. After that, with our index finger, we hit the 7th fret of the 3rd string relative to the capo, and we slide up to 9th. And then our middle finger will go back to the 8th fret of the 2nd string. And we pluck it again, slide up to 10th, go back to 8th, pluck that again, and then hit the 7th fret of the 3rd string, slide it up to 9th, do that another time, and then go back to 7th, and then end on that note. And all together. And the second line of this riff is exactly the same, except our last note isn't the 7th fret relative to the capo, it's the 5th fret relative to the capo on the 3rd string. So in total, the lead lick will sound like this. And a bit faster. So now I'm going to be playing the song in its entirety. I'm going to have my good friend Clancy, a fellow YouTuber, singing on top. Be sure to check out her cover of this song. There's a link up here and a link in the description below. She's got an amazing voice, so you won't be disappointed. Be sure to check her out and subscribe to her channel. Feel free to play this back as many times as you'd like to practice, play along to, and see how you go.
And no, I'm fine. No, I'm no stranger to surprise. This paper town has let me down too many times. Why do I even try? Give me one reason why. I thought that I could trust you, never mind. Why on the switching sides? Where do I draw the line? I'm too naive to read the signs. I'm just looking for some real friends. All they ever do is let me down. Every time I let somebody in, then I find out what they're all about. I'm just looking for some real friends. I wonder where they're all hiding out. I'm just looking for some real friends. Gotta get up out of this town, hey. I'm just looking for some real friends. All they ever do is let me down. Every time I let somebody in, then I find out what they're all about. I was looking for some real friends. Wonder where they're all hiding out. I was looking for some real friends. Gotta get up out of this town, hey. Looking for some real friends. Dreams and demons for the time that I don't understand. Tell me what's the point of a moon like this when I'm alone again? Can I run away to somewhere beautiful when nobody knows my name? I'm just looking for some real friends. All they ever do is let me down. Every time I let somebody in, all they ever do is let me down. I'm just looking for some real friends. All they ever do is let me down. I was looking for some real friends. Gotta get up out of this town, hey.
Thanks for watching, guys. Be sure to head over to GuitarZero2Hero.com to pick up my free guitar ebook. If you've enjoyed this, hit that like button, hit subscribe, click the little notification bell so that you don't miss out on my updates. Please leave your thoughts, comments, questions, or requests below, and I'll see you guys next time on Guitar Zero to Hero. Cheers.